Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into AI. But probably not the AI you're thinking of, the one from the movies. We're going to get real about what artificial intelligence can actually do, what it can't, and most importantly, how you can spot the difference. Let's get right into it.
All right, let's kick things off with a quick question for you. Think about three of the most iconic robots in pop culture: R2-D2 from Star Wars, Tony Stark's AI butler Jarvis, and of course, the Terminator. What is the one thing they all share?
And here it is, the big reveal. The one thing they have in common is that none of them are real. Not a single one. And this is the perfect place to start, because these characters, they represent all the different ideas we have about AI. And honestly, that's where most of the confusion really begins.
So our very first mission here is to draw a really clear line in the sand between the AI we see in fiction and the AI that's already a part of our lives. We need to cut through all the hype and just focus on the reality, the stuff we actually use every single day. This right here, this gets to the very heart of that confusion. On one side, you have the stuff of our dreams, or maybe our nightmares, right? The Terminator's hostile takeover, Jarvis's clever back and forth. But on the other side, that's the reality. And the reality of AI is much more like R2-D2. It's a specialist, not a generalist. It's a very smart, very focused tool. To really wrap our heads around this, we need a simple framework. So let's look at what are called the three distinct levels of AI intelligence. This is going to help us classify what AI can do and, maybe more importantly, what it can't do.
Okay, and here it is. This is probably the single most important thing to take away from our entire conversation today. Of these three types we're about to cover, only one of them is real. Just one. The other two, they are still firmly in the world of science fiction and research labs.
So the AI we have today, all of it, is what we call ANI, or Artificial Narrow Intelligence. Think of it as a specialist. It is world-class at one specific job. Your phone's Face ID is brilliant at recognizing your face, but it can't tell you the weather. ChatGPT can write an amazing email, but it has no idea how to drive a car. Every single AI you use, from Netflix recommendations to Google Maps, it's all ANI.
And you can really see the two sides of that coin here. On the one hand, narrow AI has these incredible capabilities, like recognizing faces or understanding language patterns. But on the other hand, it has serious limitations. It isn't truly creative, it can't think for itself, and it doesn't really get the bigger picture, the context.
Now let's talk about the next level up. This is AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. This is the big dream, or for some people, the big fear. It's an AI that could reason, learn, and adapt across any task, just like a human being. But I have to be crystal clear here. We are not even close. There is no AGI in the world today. It does not exist.
And that brings us to the final purely theoretical level, ASI, or Artificial Superintelligence. Now this is pure sci-fi territory. This is an intelligence that would surpass the smartest humans in every single field, from science to creativity to social skills. It's a fascinating idea for sure, but that's all it is, an idea. Okay, so we've established that the AI we have is narrow. Now let's dig a little deeper and explore why it has those limitations. We're going to look at another framework, this time focused on its cognitive capabilities, basically how it thinks. So there are four main cognitive types. You've got reactive machines, the simplest, with no memory at all. Then you have limited memory, which is where almost all modern AI lives. And then you have the two that are still out of reach: theory of mind, which is in the very early research stages, and self-aware AI, which, again, is pure science fiction.
Let's focus on limited memory AI, because that's the one you're interacting with all the time. These systems can remember recent information to keep the conversation going. But, and this is a really big but, it's all short-term. ChatGPT is the perfect example. It remembers what you said a few minutes ago in your chat, but as soon as you start a new conversation, it's a completely blank slate. It has zero long-term memory of you or anything you've ever talked about before.
All right, theory is great, but let's see how this all actually plays out in the real world. A couple of quick case studies should make these ideas perfectly clear.
First up, remember when DeepMind's AlphaGo beat the world champion at the game of Go? It was a massive moment. But this is classic ANI. AlphaGo was superhuman at Go, but it couldn't even play a basic game of checkers, let alone write a poem. It was a one-trick pony. Now contrast that with a retail company that let an LLM set its prices for a promotion. The AI confidently hallucinated, which is a fancy word for made stuff up. and created a pricing model that made no sense, forcing them to scrap the entire campaign.
So what exactly went wrong with that retail AI? Well, this quote explains it perfectly. Large language models, or LLMs, are amazing at predicting patterns. They can guess the next word in a sentence better than anything we've ever seen, but they don't actually understand business reality. They don't know what a profit margin is. They have no concept of customer loyalty. They are just incredibly good at guessing.
Okay, let's bring all this home. What does this all mean for you, right now, in your day-to-day job? How can you take this understanding and actually use AI more effectively?
Well, in the workplace, people usually fall into one of two traps. You've got the fear camp, AI is coming for our jobs, it's going to take over, and then you have the overtrust camp. The AI said it, so it has to be true. But as we've just seen, both of these viewpoints are based on a total misunderstanding of what AI actually is. You know, the best, most productive way to think about AI is as a partner. It's not your replacement, and it's definitely not an all-knowing oracle. You, the human, you bring the judgment, the critical thinking, the context. The AI brings unbelievable speed and pattern matching skills. When you put those two things together, that is where the real magic happens.
And look, this isn't some maybe someday idea. This is happening right now. A recent study found that in India, a staggering 92% of employees are already using generative AI at work. That is the highest rate of adoption anywhere on the planet, and it just goes to show how fast this is becoming part of our daily grind.
And it's not just that people are using it, they're starting to trust it. That same study found that 76% of those employees in India are willing to trust AI to help them with their tasks. And why? Because it's actually making a difference. Over 90% said it's making them more efficient at their jobs.
So, if you're looking for one simple golden rule to guide you, here it is. Treat AI like a calculator. It's an incredibly powerful tool that can do calculations you could never do on your own. But it's also fundamentally limited. You wouldn't ask your calculator for career advice, and you shouldn't expect an AI to have real-world wisdom or judgment. Let's end with a little exercise to make all of this stick. Think about two digital tools you use every single day. Maybe it's Google Maps or the smart reply suggestions in your email. Now, based on everything we've just covered, ask yourself, what kind of AI are they really? Are they narrow, general, or super? And what are their limitations? Applying this framework is the first step to becoming a true power user of AI.